welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7 with me, Raisha Sehgal, and our show today, we continue to track the Epstein fallout, which is far from over. For many, this is no longer just about one disgraced financier. It's about a system that appeared to protect the powerful while failing victims. Allegations, denials, sealed records, sudden resignations. The scandal has left reputations damaged and institutions under scrutiny. So we ask, where does this go from here? Will there be deeper investigations and real consequences? In the next few minutes, we break down the fallout and the global implications. First up, Hillary Clinton spent nearly 6 to 7 hours behind closed doors before the Republican-led House Oversight Committee. She was perhaps answering questions tied to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein investigation. The former Secretary of State denied any knowledge of Epstein's activities and said that she never visited his properties. Take a look at this report for more.
Photographs, flight logs, visitor records. Bill Clinton's name appears multiple times in documents related to Jeffrey Epstein. The former president has acknowledged flying on Epstein's private jet several times in the early 2000s after leaving office. But has denied any wrongdoing and has said he regrets the association. Former US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, though, has denied any knowledge of Jeffrey Epstein's criminal activities as she testified before the House Oversight Committee. The closed-door deposition marks a new chapter in congressional scrutiny over ties to the late financier and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Hillary Clinton said she had no knowledge of Epstein's criminal activities.
I think the chronology of the connection that he had with Epstein ended several years before anything about Epstein's criminal activities came to light.
She also accused the Republican-led panel of attempting to shift focus away from President Donald Trump's past ties to Epstein. Clinton argued that if the committee wanted the full truth, it should question the current president under oath. According to House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer, Epstein visited the White House 17 times during the Clinton administration. However, lawmakers have clarified that at this stage, no charges have been brought against Bill Clinton. The Clintons initially resisted testifying, but agreed after lawmakers threatened contempt proceedings. The hearings are expected to continue, keeping one of America's darkest scandals firmly in the political spotlight. An NDTV Bureau report.
Let's now take you through the key moments, the key statements from Hillary Clinton's testimony, which took place today. It was approximately 6 to 7 hour long testimony. First up, Hillary Clinton has rather questioned she's questioned who is being protected, because remember, this was a Republican majority-led House Oversight Committee, and she also criticized the Republican majority committee, further saying and asking who is perhaps being protected. Second up, Hillary Clinton clearly denied meeting Epstein ever. Apart from that, she also said that I have no information on Epstein. And she also said that she was being asked same questions again and again about Epstein, during which she rather offered suggestion for a different kind of probe and a different line of questioning, which the authorities can take. Next up, she again says that I never flew on Epstein planes. I never met Jeffrey Epstein. Next, apart from this, she also said that, like I mentioned here, that she was asked the same question again and again, but there were also some off-the-topic questions which were asked to Hillary Clinton, like she was asked about UFOs and also about the Pizzagate scandal. Well, these were some of the major key highlights from Hillary Clinton's Epstein testimony, which took place today. Well, to talk more about the Epstein scandal fallout, I'm now being joined by Nicholas Nugent. He is a former BBC editor and journalist in the United Kingdom. Welcome to NDTV, sir. First up, what do you make of all that is happening right now? This massive Epstein fallout, the resignations, some renowned people also under the scanner, including the former UK prince and even Peter Mandelson. Do you think what is being done right now is enough?
Well, I'm not in a position to judge that, but as you indicate, it's a scandal that is dominating not just the US and the UK, but other countries as well. Indeed, sometimes I think that there's a competition going on between the US and the UK as to see where the worst ramifications come from the scandal. It's big, big stuff here. The Prime Minister nearly lost his position, but he's clung on. Today he's got other bad news, having lost a by-election. But his judgment is seriously in question, not least for appointing Peter Mandelson as British ambassador to the United States, and then having to withdraw him once more details of the scandal became known. It's really quite remarkable here, the way the story is leaking out, or more revelations are coming from the Department of Justice revelations in America, and we don't know where it'll end. And as you've been pointing out, today, or rather yesterday, it seems to have swung back to the US.
Right.
With Mrs. Clinton, Hillary Clinton testifying, and today Bill Clinton about to testify. So, and we know that President Trump himself is involved. So in America, you've got both Mr. Clinton and Mr. Trump, two presidents, implicated. But when I say implicated, being mentioned in the files doesn't prove anything. It just sort of rattles the establishment. And in America, as in Britain, we're eager to know more. It's looking very serious in Britain because both the key people implicated, that's to say the former Prince Andrew and Peter Mandelson, appear to be implicated in leaking state secrets, leaking secret documents to Epstein, which is very serious indeed for our constitution, really, for the way Britain works.
Right.
It could be bigger in the US. Who knows?
Right. If I can just come in there, sir, we spoke about, you mentioned how there's this perhaps competition, if I may, as to which country has broad implications when it comes to Epstein files, the US or the UK. But I just want to follow up on that. We're perhaps not seeing the same kind of reckoning in the United States of America like we're seeing in the United Kingdom and in Europe. Why is that? Do you think that the officials in the United States of America are not doing enough, are not taking proper stern actions?
I don't think I could. I don't think I could say that. I mean, after all, who gathered all this evidence? The US Department of Justice. So they're at the top. I mean, it amazes me that no British authority knew about leaked secrets, which is the thing that is reverberating here. But the Department of Justice appears to have amassed a massive amount of documentation, videos and pictures about Mr. Epstein. I don't think you can say they're not taking it seriously enough, but where it becomes, where it is at the moment is accusations, as most recently from Hillary Clinton, accusations that there's a bit of a cover-up going up with regard to the present incumbent president, President Trump. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but President Trump has been pictured certainly with Mr. Epstein. So again, we do wonder how much further it goes. I mean, this is massive, absolutely massive on both sides of the Atlantic. And the mind boggles that so much was not known before. Yes. Even we journalists, you know, we got onto little leads of it, but we had no idea that the shall we say, the relationship between Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein was as significant and prolonged as now appears to be the case. And we certainly had no idea about Peter Mandelson's close involvement with Mr. Epstein. So I certainly can't say that they're not doing enough in America. On the contrary, they're doing lots in America. That's where all the documents have come from. But you'll just have to see how the constitutional and indeed judicial process takes place on both sides of the Atlantic. We've got a fairly clearly established judicial system. The police are investigating. In fact, several police forces are investigating several things.
Right.
Notably, whether private aircraft were used to bring young ladies for
right. I just want to take a last question. Just want to ask you, do you think this is just the tip of the iceberg? We have renowned people. We have the former UK prince. We have the former CEO of World Economic Forum, all being under the scanner. Do you think that there's more to this and we're just getting started?
Well, if this is the tip of the iceberg, it's a pretty massive iceberg already. 3.5 million documents released on the last release from the Department of Justice. I don't know. I mean, new names are coming out all the time, but whether we already know the biggest names, again, I can't say. And it's reverberated in other countries as well. So who can tell? There's so many documents that it's taking an awful long time for the media to go through them. But it seems every day I pick up the newspaper and there's some new revelation. So tip of the iceberg in the sense that we've only looked at a small portion of the released documents. But whether there are more beyond this alleged 3.5 million,
we'll have to wait and see.
Who can tell? I think this story is going to run and run. So if that means the iceberg is much bigger than we think at the moment, then maybe it is.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Nugent, for joining us here on NDTV and sharing your insights with us. All right, let's now tell you about the arrest and the resignations and how the Epstein scandal has engulfed various renowned people, not just in the United Kingdom, but also in the United States of America. Let's first tell you about the former CEO of World Economic Forum, Bob Brende. He resigned after his name was featured in the Epstein pages, the Epstein files. Second, of course, Peter Mandelson. He is the ex-UK envoy to the United States of America, and he was charged with allegations of sharing sensitive, important information to Epstein while he held high positions in the Labour government. Third up, Andrew Windsor, former UK prince. He has been seen with Jeffrey Epstein since the early 2000s, and in one interview to BBC, he even went on to defend his friendship with Epstein. Fourth, Mette Marit, she's the Crown Prince of Norway, who has also been featured in the Epstein files. Then we have Jack Lang. He's the ex-French minister. All this just shows that the Epstein files scandal is not just pertaining to the UK or the US, but also to France and even Norway. Then we have Dr. Peter Attia. He is the CBS News contributor. He stepped down from his position just 2 to 3 days ago when his name also featured in the Epstein files. Well, there have been new images from the latest Epstein files release which are sending shockwaves once again. And this is a picture which shows renowned physicist Stephen Hawking alongside bikini-clad women. While apart from that, there have also been fresh scrutiny which surrounds Bill Gates as more details emerge from the sprawling case tied to Jeffrey Epstein. Our next report details all you need to know about Epstein's ties with all the renowned people in the US and UK.
One of the world's greatest astrophysicists, Stephen Hawking, pictured in the Epstein files with bikini-clad women sipping cocktails. The world-renowned scientist, iconic for his work as well as how he battled disability, is seen in this undated picture that has just dropped as part of the latest tranche of the Epstein files. Hawking's family has told British media that the women in the picture are his long-term carers. But why this photograph features in the Epstein files is unknown. Hawking's name features hundreds of times in the infamous files about Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking enterprise. Hawking passed away in 2018, long before his links to the sex offender became public. But another icon is very much alive and feeling the heat. Bill Gates, who also features several times in the infamous files, has been forced to apologize. The Wall Street Journal reports Gates has expressed regret over his past association with the convicted sex offender in a town hall with Gates Foundation employees this week. The apology comes days after Bill Gates had to withdraw from India's AI summit as a result of the heat on him from the Epstein scandal. In this town hall, Gates also acknowledged having 2 affairs with Russian women during his marriage to Melinda Gates, but said these weren't related to Epstein's sex enterprise and that Epstein had threatened him in connection with one of those relationships.
I apologize to other people who are drawn into this because of the mistake I made. It definitely is the opposite of the values of the foundation and the goals of the foundation.
The unrelenting release of the Epstein files is taking a telling toll. Prince Andrew, Bill Gates, Stephen Hawking. With thousands of files and photos still to be released, the world waits and watches. Whose dirty pictures will drop next? Bureau Report, NDTV.
Well, allegations involving former Ambassador Peter Mandelson and former Prince Andrew are also intensifying scrutiny on the government and the monarchy. Here's more on the growing calls for transparency and accountability in our next report.
The widening Jeffrey Epstein file scandal has rocked British politics. Former UK ambassador to the US, Peter Mandelson, was released on bail after being arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. The case is tied to the newly released documents pertaining to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Mandelson, once a senior Labour cabinet minister, is alleged to have passed sensitive government information to Epstein, including material from his time in office more than a decade ago. The controversy has intensified political pressure on Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who appointed Mandelson as ambassador despite long-standing scrutiny over his friendship with Epstein. Critics from opposition parties and within Starmer's own ranks have questioned the vetting process and demanded accountability for the decision. Meanwhile, another high-profile figure at the center of the Epstein fallout, former Prince Andrew, remains under investigation. He was arrested earlier this month on suspicion of misconduct in public office over separate allegations that he shared confidential information with Epstein during his time as a UK trade envoy. He was released under investigation and pressure is building for the disclosure of files related to his appointment and conduct. Some experts suggest that the scandal surrounding Andrew could end the reign of King Charles III if the king had any idea of his brother's alleged misconduct while in public office. As both inquiries unfold, British authorities and Parliament face mounting calls for greater transparency and accountability. Bureau Report, NDTV World.
US-based author Deepak Chopra is the latest high-profile name engulfed by the Epstein file storm. While earlier this month, Deepak Chopra had attempted to distance himself from his long-known association with Epstein, newly released Justice Department documents now reveal a deep, intimate friendship with Jeffrey Epstein, including messages where Chopra urged him to bring his girls on trips. Take a look.
Deepak Chopra, the best-selling author and pioneer of integrative medicine, now faces intense scrutiny from the latest dump of Epstein files. The US Justice Department's Epstein library have exposed hundreds of emails and messages between Deepak Chopra and Jeffrey Epstein from 2016 right up to 2019, when Epstein was arrested for sex trafficking underage girls. The author also visited Epstein's properties in New York City, Florida, and even Paris. Emigrating from New Delhi, Chopra built a wellness empire with dozens of bestsellers on spirituality and health, but his ties to Epstein ran deep. The Epstein files reveal emails signing off with words like love or XO, with Deepak telling Epstein how grateful he was for their friendship. In the mail trail, there are two distinct instances when Chopra invited Epstein with girls. In 2017, inviting him to a visit to Israel, Chopra wrote, "If you want, use a fake name, bring your girls would love it." The same year, for a Switzerland workshop, Chopra allegedly told Epstein, "Come with your girls." The shocking revelations came just weeks after Chopra attempted damage control on social media platform X and said that he was never involved in any criminal or exploitative conduct, adding that he regrets his past email exchanges. Chopra now joins big names like the former British Prince Andrew Mountbatten in facing storm over Epstein ties. And as the Epstein web tightens, action against more high-profile names is imminent. Bureau Report, NDTV.
Well, convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein was a wealthy financier whose connections to powerful political, business and royal figures drew global scrutiny. And at the center of it was one place, Epstein Island. But where is Epstein's private island now and who controls it? Our next report telling you more.
In the turquoise waters of the Caribbean, surrounded by beaches and postcard views, sits a small, secluded island with a dark reputation. The world knows it as Epstein Island. Its real name, Little St. James, a secluded 70-acre island just off the US Virgin Islands, a US territory known for luxury tourism. In 1998, Jeffrey Epstein bought it for nearly $8 million. Over the years, multiple buildings were constructed, including a main residence and guest villas. Epstein later expanded his footprint, purchasing the neighboring Great St. James in 2016, creating a two-island compound in the middle of the Caribbean Sea. Private, remote, accessible only by boat or helicopter, something Epstein valued greatly for its isolation. That isolation is now central to allegations that the island became the site of sexual abuse involving underage girls and much more. Recently released images from inside the compound show multiple bedrooms and unusual interiors, glimpses into a property that for years operated far from public scrutiny. Locals gave it a blunt nickname, Paedophile Island. Epstein reportedly called it Little St. Jeff's. After Epstein's death, billionaire investor Steven Dekoff purchased both islands for $60 million in 2023. Today, the palm trees still sway. The water still glistens. But for many, Little St. James is no paradise. It's a symbol of secrecy, power, and a scandal that has shaken the world. NDTV Bureau Report.